Folks, my name is Mr. Mooman11, and we are well into Season 6 now. The season of bugs, wall hacks, nerfed C4s, and of course, weapon variants that can penetrate you harder than Johnny Sins on 30 cc's of Viagra. With all these changes, it's hard to know what still works and what doesn't, and if you want to work your way to the top of the cyber attack ladder, then you've come to the right video series commentated by the right man for the job to make sure you get there and join me, residing high above your glorious kingdom. But what is a king without his loyal peasants, or more importantly, his knights with their weapons of war? In this episode, we're covering what the right tools for battle are that you should be running on all your classes to ensure that your coffers are overflowing with booty, and your maidens are also overflowing with booty. Cause that's right, King, this is a motherfucking class guide to help you win all your cyber attack games in Season 6 and beyond. That is, if you're not making the switch to Cold War in like a month, but that's besides the point. I may be getting a late start at this, but whatever, I'll pick things up quicker in the next COD, pinky promise. Anyways, let's talk about the makings of a good set of classes, cause when you play Cyber, you can go against any number of enemy playstyles. From rushing teams to teams that literally don't leave their spawn, like our friend Good Anakin's team we so gracefully smacked. So you need to make sure you've got several options to pick from to be able to beat them back to the fracking salt domes they were birthed from. Now, if you are caught up in this series, you'll know the couple of basic classes you'll want to have ready to go each game are a few core AR classes, an overkill class for when you need to switch from longer range gunfights to very close quarters fights, a solid rushing class you can use to get in the face of your enemies as fast as possible, and a long range precision marksman rifle or sniping class to take out enemies from a distance. And you'll definitely want to stick around to the end of the video, because we've got a special heartwarming send-off for everyone's favorite limited time class, because Activision finally patched the literal cancer-causing AS-Val ammo variant that I'm sure we're all just devastated to see go. And if you're not caught up in the series, definitely check out the 2 previous videos in this cyber attack playlist, because they've got lots of super helpful tips that build up on each other and also help build you up as a successful cyber player and an even more successful human being. So let's get started with the first class, one that's been near and dear to me for pretty much the entire life cycle of Modern Warfare, the good old SOCOM M4. This weapon setup is my go-to try-hard gun. The powerful SOCOM rounds are reliable and consistent, like the disappointment you feel when the existential dread of the folly of the two-party system in America sets in. With these rounds, it's always a 3-kill shot if you're landing body shots, or 2 shots to the head. This setup heavily emphasizes accuracy and range over run and gunning, so your playstyle should match the class's strengths, holding down power positions or challenging players at range. The recoil definitely is more aggressive visually, but in practice it's very manageable, especially with the attachments we're running. Specifically, you'll want to put on a compensator, because that lifted Ford F-150 with that kitted out grill guard and LED high beams really just wasn't getting your message across. It'll also help reduce your aim down sight recoil, and so will the Ranger foregrip for your underbarrel attachment and the Corvus custom marksman barrel. This is my preferred barrel for this class because of the range and accuracy benefits to it, and although ADS time is increased by a frame or 2, the pros outweigh the cons on this one. Of course, you'll want to have the SOCOM 10-round mags equipped for that massive damage buff, and I've got the integral hybrid sight slapped on there so I can quickly change my sight picture from close range to far range and back when need be. Lastly, you're always going to want to have on the Red Tiger camo if you've got it unlocked, because, I mean, come on, let's be honest, it's a better looking camo than Damascus and Onyx anyway. All in all, this is an excellent medium to long range weapon, but up close, you really have to get the drop on someone or you'll get mowed down by some 10,000 round per minute Finnick that dumps its load on you faster than a neckbeard at a Riley Reid look-alike contest. You'll also need a solid secondary weapon that can take care of those close range threats, and I'd recommend the old 357 snake shots if they weren't nerfed to hell and back, but they definitely were, so instead, go with a nice little M19. I have mine equipped with a monolithic suppressor and extended barrel for those occasions where I've got a target one shot and need to finish the job, but I also have on the lightweight trigger so I can spam it when someone runs up on me unexpectedly and I need to smash my trigger finger at light speed. I've also got on the 5mm laser and rubberized grip tape so the ADS time is improved and I'm not caught with my pants down in public again trying to hip fire. Now I can see someone making a case for running akimbo pistols on this class and just fully embracing the pants down mantra and hip firing everything, but I personally prioritize accuracy over bullet hoses in this situation since this is the designated tryhard class and you're more likely to pull this out when you're playing decent players who can put up an accurate counterattack, but you know, to each their own. Moving on to perks now, I tend to run the same 3 perks on each class, with a few exceptions. We've got EOD coming in the blue perk slot, Ghost for your red, and Amped for your yellow perk. EOD makes it so you don't have to worry about random nades or single claymores. Ghost is helpful for when the enemy grabs the bomb and gets those free UAV sweeps, and Amped makes it so you're not wasting time fumbling around trying to switch weapons in a heated gunfight. Now for the lethal, I would have told you unequivocally to run C4 on it for the last 5 seasons, hell, even the last 5 COD games, but you know the saying, if something ain't broke, go ahead and break it. That's the Activision way. C4 is practically worthless as of the making of this video, since the beginning of Season 6 came with a nerf to its throwing distance. You can't even throw the dang things into second-story windows without practically being inside it already. And then you run the risk of blowing yourself up with your own explosive, and unless you're with ISIS, that's probably not something you want to do. So I'd recommend switching your lethal to something with a maximum throw distance greater than a subway footlong. So grab a Simtex or a Thermite if they got some riot shielders. For your tactical, grab a stun grenade, and your tryhard M4 class is good to go. Next, let's move on to something totally and completely different, a slightly altered M4 class. But don't worry, it's got possibly even more tryhard potential, cause this bad boy runs overkill with a 725 as a secondary. This setup allows for more movement around the map than the SOCOM M4 class does, since there's no ADS penalty because we'll be running a GI mini reflex, tac laser, and forged tac stock, which all help reduce ADS time. Now I did used to run the no stock attachment on this class, but after a pretty hefty nerf to that attachment in Season 5, I've started using the forged tac, which works very well. But the real bread and butter of this class comes down to the versatility the overkill perk brings you. Not only are you bringing a very well-rounded primary weapon to this Shindig, but you've got an uninvited 725 as your secondary. And we all know why it was banned from the wedding in the first place after the speech it gave at the baby shower a few months ago. But you know what, the fact is, it's here and it's ready to party. So saw off that barrel, saw off that stock, slap a choke on it and a Tempest Slim Grip, and after a quick slide of handy, whew, it's ready to go. This build emphasizes speed and aggression, so it's perfect for launching a counterattack on a rushing enemy by hopping around a corner and blasting them away if they somehow manage to make it through the barrage of fire from your M4. And again, Red Tiger is an absolute must if you've got it unlocked, and the rest of the perks and equipment are pretty standard. Now moving on, we've got a special treat for you with this next class, an AR class you can't possibly see coming, another M4 setup. This M4 build is kind of a happy medium between the last 2 classes, since we'll be running the 50 round mags and forged tac stock instead of SOCOM rounds in a sight. We've also got a monolithic suppressor on it to help add a bit of stealth to the build, and overall, this setup is an excellent all-around weapon. The ADS time is on the faster side, and the close quarter stock and suppressor lets you get right up on the enemy team without the clap of your ass cheeks alerting them to your presence. The 50 round mags are also much more forgiving since you can miss a few more shots and not be as heavily penalized as doing the same with the SOCOM rounds. And at the same time, you've still got excellent range potential and great suppressing fire capabilities. All in all, it's a great middle ground M4 build that excels both at range and in close quarters. Grab yourself that M19 from your first class and you'll be ready to rock and roll. Now if you haven't noticed already from these first 3 classes, the M4 is just a great all-around weapon. But you may be asking yourself, Moo Man, what if I don't want to be a basic bitch like you and instead use something even more OP? Well then, little Timmy, I present to you the AS Val. Now don't worry, its 10 round mags just got the nerf it so deservedly needed, but it's still an incredibly powerful weapon, especially at close range, where it's a 3-shot with an incredibly fast rate of fire. Its recoil can be a little unnerving, but to combat that, put on the VLK 200mm barrel, a Ranger foregrip, and a VLK Strelix stock. Since it shoots so fast, I definitely recommend putting on the 30 round mags, and to slightly increase your ADS, the stipple grip tape can help there as well. The AS Val is nice in the sense that it's also got a built-in suppressor, so you know what, Moo Man just practically gave you a free 6th attachment there on the house. And the Val still retains some of its increased bullet penetration even post-patch, so screw it, Moo Man's throwing in a 7th attachment FMJ free of charge. A standard loadout the rest of the way will complete this class, and you'll be ready to move on to my favorite rushing class, featuring an MP5 and Beyonce's daughter Blue Ivy. Or wait, that's the knife Blue Silence. Never mind. Now we're really going all out on this one here, folks. We even called in a specialist to help build this one out. But guess what? The real specialist was in you all along. We are, though, definitely running specialist on this class, because you can really start to steamroll the enemy team with your rushes as you get kills and unlock more perks. If you're like super duper new, just go into your perk menu and press the button it tells you to activate specialist. Since it is a rushing class, I've got on double time, and I do like to stay hidden, so there comes in Ghost, Tracker is helpful for flanking, and then I run Quick Fix, EOD, and High Alert to round things out. On to the gun itself, the name of the game is mobility. So I've got on the 5mm laser, FSS close quarter stock, and stipple grip tape. I am also running the operator foregrip for less recoil, and the 10mm rounds for that extra damage output. In the last little while before the new COD comes out, I'll try to work on some videos highlighting the best rushing routes for each map on Cyber Attack, but for the time being, you'll just get to forge your own little path with this nice little rushing class. And that brings us to the last item on the agenda, which is a sniping or marksman class, but I kind of find that playstyle is a little too slow for my liking. So instead, just make a foul class or something, and we'll say goodbye to the one true fake marksman class. The broken AS Val with its 10-round mags that could shoot through entire maps. Goodbye, toxic weapon, with your snapshot grenades of death and player base that thinks staring directly at a wall is a fun and innovative way to play the game. You will truly not be missed. Finally, just to wrap things up with a neat little bow, the best field upgrade to use is Dead Silence so you can sprint around the map undetected, and my personal favorite score streaks for Cyber are a UAV, a Predator missile, and a VTOL. Other personal favorites include subscribing to the channel to become a proud member of the Moo Crew, and following on both twitch.tv/MrMooMan11 and @OfficialMooCrew on Instagram. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one.
What is this fest?
I don't know what just happened that round.
What
was
was
that?
Everyone with a shot. What was that?